as an individual? I'll start with Sadie.
Well, good evening again, everybody. So just earlier on today, we was actually just talking about, it was the sheet, wasn't it, that you gave us the questions and having to discuss it by table. And the awakening cycle. And I chose one basically saying that it's a new season. So for me, it's just about awakening my soul and realising that this last year wasn't just a waste of my time. This last year has been, it's been a struggle. It's been a really long, because I do have 6 children, so it's not just running a ministry. I'm a mum of 6 too. So I just think it's more about awakening what I already had and building a bigger purpose and a bigger vision than what I already had. Amen?
Amazing. Thank you so much. Please pass the mic to Louise. Awakening, revival, awakening. What does that mean for you, Louise?
Okay. I suppose it can be a double-edged sword, if you want to call it, a revival awakening. For me, it means reviving, awakening what I know I've been given, the purpose I've been given. And you said something about taking territory.
Yes. Discovering purpose and
Yeah.
taking territories.
I think it kind of goes hand in hand. I think once you discover your purpose, you then discover what territory you've been given, where that leads you, where that guides you, and in that is your territory. Like yours is, what you've been given. Mine, I've only literally probably the last year, Gladys will confirm this, found my purpose and know what it is, but also my territory, who I'm called to, what I'm called to do. So the two go hand in hand, definitely, and I thank you for that. So yeah, mine is it's when you've been given a purpose, you then, it gets revealed slowly, the territory that you have for that purpose and what it is. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you so much. Angela?
Yeah, so with regards to the whole theme, I think for me, it's always about making sure that you are present for your purpose. Because you can have the purpose can be there and you can actually not be present for it. And when I say that is, many times people can actually help you identify your purpose. And but if you're not present for it, and you might even sense what you should be doing, but if you're not present, if you're distracted, there's things going on. Because there's always going to be a drama going on, people. Trust me. There's always going to be something happening. If it's not, the kids, if it's not that, it's the house. If it's not that, it's the relationship. If it's not, it's the, financial problems. The list is endless. And sometimes we're so busy trying to get to that perfect place before we start taking territory. And that's I've been down that road and it doesn't work. You need to just be doing it on the way and trusting God in the middle of it. Because there's no greater satisfaction than the sense that you feel like you are actively fulfilling your purpose.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for that. So how about, let's talk a little bit about personal development. So what does the role of personal development look like when it comes? I'll start with you, Angela, since you've got the mic. Then we'll make our way backwards. What does the role of personal development? Why develop yourself? Well, we've had workshops today. Oh my gosh. You talked to us about living authentically. Wowza. And we've had workshops on different areas. I don't want to recap, but why is that important then if we are to take territory or discover purpose or have a revival awakening? What is the...
Yeah, I think, I would say being a child of the 60s, so now I'm kind of in my 60s now, right? And personal development, that whole theme is very new. It's very kind of 2010-ish onwards. It was in the States before that, but it wasn't something that was talked about. Personal development, why? We're already here, we're developed. But it's bigger than that, isn't it? It's about understanding that I can be greater than what I am now. And the old school way was there's always room for improvement. So we're not trying to do, personal development is not about trying to be perfect or getting to a stage of perfection, because it doesn't exist. And if you try and do that, you will quickly find out that it doesn't work. But it is about the sense of, I'm optimizing my capacity. And I think there's nothing more heartbreaking than seeing people who want to do stuff, like they really want to do it, but they just don't feel like they've got the capacity. But you can, and you may not have the capacity, but guess what? You can go and develop the capacity. So you can take a mini training course, you can join some community groups, that you can go on online groups where you can learn and you can grow, and that's development. And sometimes what people are also frightened of is the cost of personal development.
Yeah.
Because with everything there is a cost, and it's not, I'm not saying it to be negative, but sometimes the cost is you might have to lose some things, that unwanted baggage you need to drop off, be they in human form or otherwise, dare I say. That I'm just keeping it real. You know, as you go on that journey, you may find that actually I'm changing and I'm evolving and I'm not that person anymore, guys. And that's part of personally developing. You go, I'm not that yeah, I used to be like that. Can a person change? Yeah, absolutely. You have to be willing to pay the price though. But that's also part of the journey. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you've got to cross over, and you might have to pass through a bit of fire to get over. But boy, when you get to the other side, you'll be so glad.
Wow, thank you so much.
Wow, where do I go from there? Can I just say, you are never in your 60s.
Oh, she just dropped that in
Can we
there.
literally just give a round of applause? Literally. Okay, where to go from that? What does personal development look like to me? To me, it looks like going from a place where I was so broken and so lost at 45 years old, not having a clue. How I could come out of this mindset and out of this mindset of negativity and just thinking, I thought that was it for my life. But then it was kind of, like you say, it's meeting people, and sometimes it's actually getting rid of people. I always say, like, God pushes people away and brings people in at a time you need it. But even if you don't know God, it is literally about knowing that mindset can change through personal development, through working on yourself, through promoting. It's almost like a rebuilding, isn't it? It's like those blocks. You start with little and you build and you want to build and you build and then by the end of it, you've built a whole house. Or like, you've opened your fourth refuge. It's developing continuously all the time, and it's not easy. It doesn't take days, weeks, years. We're always developing it, but you have to have that mindset to be. You need to kind of get that mentality of this is not it. There is more for you. You can build on that. For me, that was learning that actually there is so much more out there for you, and there is so much more that you can go and you can learn. You can keep on. We're always learning, but to build on that as well, and to build yourself up so that you can then help others know what that looks like. So yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. I love the way you say that, because when we've had Angela talk to us about practical things, so coming to a conference like this is personal development workshops and training, and then Louise is actually saying sometimes it's that self-awareness or intentionality of realizing that I need to make a change and what do I need to do. That is also personal development. So it doesn't have to be this big fuzzy word, because a lot of the time people hear it and they think, if I need to get a master's degree or something. No, it's realizing that it's just working on yourself as well, depending on where you are. Because even for those who have, already manifested so much, you may be doing great, there is still more. There is still more potential within you, so there is always constant growth. Thank you so much, Louise. What about you, Sadie?
So yeah, given having the history that I have, I won't go into it because I think...
No, please do actually, you could, because that would lead us nicely into...
So starting from a very young age, I was bullied. I've always been a big girl, unfortunately, but fortunately, because I wouldn't be smiling if I wasn't being there.
Yes, sorry.
So yeah, just in general, I was hung by skipping ropes at school. I was beaten to the floor. I was outside the toilets, and they would literally stand in a row and stop me from going to the toilet. I ended up with a major kidney operation. They cut me open like a jack of potato, removed a stag horn from my kidney, you know, and I went really through the woods with my bullying. It led me on to a very young age. I was 17, 18, and I was abused by 3 men, and then I went on to later on in my 18, and I moved to Ashford because my mum had moved to Ashford. I've always lived in the Medway towns, but yeah, my mum moved to Ashford. And then I moved up there, and sadly it led me to looking for love that I wasn't really ready for, because it wasn't love. At 19 I had a baby boy. Social services were ready to take him away. They were literally at the door, outside looking in the window, peering in my privacy after a C-section. And I told my ex-partner that you either leave or, you know, well, I wasn't a very nice person, put it that way. So yeah, you either leave or, you know, I'm going to have you arrested, and more to come, because I had a really worried brother-in-law, shall we say, who was always ready to help me out and push those sort of men away. So yeah, coming from that, and then being able to take my baby home, to then being raped 2 days after a C-section because he climbed in the window and attacked me. The following, I felt really, really vulnerable, and I couldn't call the police. I just had to deal with it, because otherwise he was going to take the baby. We're talking about a man that wanted to take the baby clothes from the hospital just to have them under his pillow to smell them. What a psycho. Anyway, if you're watching, look at me now.
Exactly.
So yeah, it just led to, that was my first boy, and I've got obviously 6 children now, but I fell in and out of relationships, done the Freedom Programme. It never really helped me until my self-development, until I finally realised who I was and put my pain aside and realised that actually there's a purpose behind the pain. I was a diamond in the dirt, basically. That's my book, amen. So, yeah, and then I've always been a Christian from like 13. I tried to go to church. My mum and dad wasn't big believers, so I wasn't brought up by a silver spoon. 3 years ago, or 10 years ago, I met my lovely husband, who didn't want me to do it, sorry, baby, who brought 3 of my children up at the age of 21. So, sadly, later on in life, 2 of my children, that was my first one, then my other 2 children lost their dad to a brain tumour 3 years ago. So the trauma that I've experienced in my life, after building a really good friendship with my ex-partner, losing him, happened to...
It's okay. You got it. Keep going. Yeah. You got it.
Look at you now, and this is what I mean. You know, I was very intentional about picking the panel, because I would like us to see what it means about purposeful living. This amazing queen sitting here sharing this, that's why I said, you wouldn't know that after we've experienced her amazing worship. But she runs groups for other women, right, today. I've been in her groups, right, a round of applause, I've been in her groups. And she has really spoken about this, you know, that's what I'm, because pain to purpose, right? And I'm gonna go into, if that's okay, if you're ready. So what is it then? What can you share? What is that personal goal? What is it that, what is the kind of mindset? What did you have to shift into to be able to go, I went through all of that, but listen, I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna help others.
I learned how to break my chains. I learned how to be free. I learned how to answer my children as to why their dad was taken away.
Yeah, come on.
And I carried on, and I still carry on. Hallelujah. Mine was about finding God. It really was about finding God, because it's so painful when you feel like you're so alone. So breaking those chains.
You are not alone.
Yeah.
You are not alone.
Amen.
Amen.
So breaking those chains and putting my pride aside that I built up, the walls that I built up, that I had to come tumbling down, and I just kept building them, and I just kept falling down again, I just kept building them. And you know what? At the time that they were the highest, I felt like I was strong, but I wasn't. It was at that time that I struggled. It was when the chains were broken and the wall came down that I could start focusing on myself, humbling myself, because after you've been through so much, it's a struggle to humble yourself. It's a real struggle to humble yourself and to not judge people. So yeah, coming from that and building on myself to enable to help other people. And in fact, starting my group, there are some photos on the table, but starting my group, Small Step Support Group, is actually, it's built me back up. It's made me the woman I am today. And not only that, so is my husband and my children, but yeah, you know, but there's still more to come.
Amen. A round of applause, Mr. Savior. Thank you so much. And that's one of the things we learned this morning. There's power in sharing your story. And I know God has more for that in terms of sharing your story, which is why I know God led me to have you on this panel today. This is the Queen Unleashed panel. I got so excited today. I'm just kind of just flowing, right? So I want us to shift to the psychology side with Angela. What are some tips that one could do? So this doesn't have to be domestic abuse generally, right? We're talking about no matter where you are, you want to go higher. What does that look like? What is the mindset that you need to have? What are some tips that you could share with the guests with regards to making a change happen, unleashing your potential, taking your territory, or discovering your purpose? What are some tips you could share?
It's all in my book down there.
Get the book.
Get the book. Get the bag. Get the book. Sell it for £7 today, by the way. Just saying. Only for people in the room, though.
Yes.
Right. So, okay. In order to say what you need to go forward, I will tell you a little bit about what it is to be back. So, the person you see sitting here before you, very, very, very different. Not inside. I was always me, but I was not being myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, so, very complex relationship, very complex, it was very complex marriage, and I don't want people to bombard me afterwards, but actually, no, I'm saying it up front because I'm going to put a disclosure up here now, because my ex-husband is a pastor, right? So, but out of respect for him, and I do respect him, I'm not going to disclose the ins and outs behind that, right? But it was complicated because I had a big church and I was thriving and I went like that, straight down, head first. But that's where things are born.
Yes.
When you are, as you later said, when you are on your face. So you have to be willing to go through a bit of crisis, is all I'm saying. But look at me now, is that worth it? Yeah. The best is yet to come, by the way. So I think that you have to be broken to repair. And everybody's broken looks different. You may not have mine broken. I don't want your broken, thanks. Keep your own broken. I'm good with mine, right? I've got enough going on. But it's recognized, and actually, and I did go through for therapy. And it was going for therapy that led me to do my master's in applied psychology, because I went through the process against all my cultural settings, beliefs, religious beliefs, and all of that stuff. I spent time with the most amazing therapists. I think, you need to be willing to engage and talk to somebody, and you have to, and sometimes you won't do it until you're hot, until the heat is literally under you. That will drive you to find somebody who is competent and qualified, not your mates. So you have to be willing to find somebody qualified to talk to. So that kind of helped me, but there was lots of other stuff going on, lots of other things. But I found that having trusted, and it was then I found out who I could trust. And it was through that I learned how to set boundaries. So the one thing I think that you absolutely have to start doing is setting boundaries for who comes in and out of your life. Do not just be an open door and let people breeze in, talk a lot of rubbish and come back out again. And so in my book, I actually give you practical tips like, how do I do that? How do I, like I had to tell somebody, very dear friend of mine, because and those of you from the church, all up in the business. Oh, what's going on? All up in the and I actually, and I had to say to her, I'm not going to disclose or discuss my personal situation with you. But that for me was really hard because passersby, people pleaser, you name it, all of it wrapped up in one. But I had to draw, and actually, what did she do? Did she get upset, go, I'm not speaking to you? She's like, oh, and then she backed off. Well, we're still friends to this day, but I set that boundary. So I think you have to be willing, work at it, take that bold step of saying, actually, I'm not allowing you into this part of my life. This is my thing. So I don't have to share everything. Right? So and that's how you protect yourself. So self-care is about protecting yourself. And self-care is not candles, bubble baths, and a glass of wine. That's not self-care. It's nice, but it's not self-care. Yeah, that's pampering. Self-care is saying, I am not going to let people just intrude into my life. So, and it could be your mother, your father, I don't care if it's your brother, your sister, I don't care who they are. No one is allowed to come and just breeze into your life, take it over, start telling you whatever they want to tell you, breezing out again and leaving you with more guilt, more shame, all of those things that just push you into the ground. So my first thing is, guys, learn to set boundaries for your life.
Wow, thank you so much, Angela. So we are running out of time. Let's carry on with maybe just your top tip when it comes to either unleashing potential or discovering, but something that you've experienced or you've learned on your journey, one takeaway that you would like to share. It's going to be the same for you, Sadie, and then we'll close.
My top tip for discovering
your purpose or unleashing your potential or even personal development, one thing that has worked for you, because you talked about your journey. What's one practice or one thing that you've done that has helped you?
Okay, I'm going to say the one thing that I know is self-reflection. It's taking a step back, and I think it leads on to what you said. It might even have to be, the family, everyone who wants to think they're trying to give you, all the voices that that are in here. Because at the end of the day, it's only you know where you want to, what you're capable of. And how much capacity you have. Sometimes we don't, but when you're knowing your purpose, it's only for you to know. You have that capacity, and listening to everyone's voices all the time. So much information out there all the time. Sometimes it's just about shutting the world away and doing that self-reflection, and that might include God. It might not. But it is about having that, that downtime, that time to go, do you know what, put everything down. It is literally that saying, be still and know that I'm God. But it is about having that self-reflection, shutting out the voices. Because, even people who, are trying to help, and they feel like they're trying to help, sometimes, with all the best will in the world, it then sets you on a spiral of, so maybe if I did that, and then you're going down 10 different paths that, your brain, you wasn't even meant to go down, and that can, so for me, it was a lot of self-reflection, a lot of time spent on my own. That could be journaling, that could be, just having that for me, that was...
Thank you so much, Louise. What about you, Sadie? One top thing or something that you've practiced throughout your rebuilding, your transitioning, that you could share that may be helpful to somebody else?
So one passage that I've carried on testing myself now. Exodus 13:13. Now these three remain: hope, love, and faith, hope, and love. Yes, amen. Thank you. So having faith in yourself loving each other as as you would expect to be loved yourself, and hope for your future. So I can't say any more than that, really, can I? Like, don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. The path that you're gonna be on, it's not gonna be easy. As you heard, it's not easy. You've heard from quite a few people in the room all day, throughout the day, that it's not easy. It's never easy. But be yourself as well, and always be humble. Always be humble.
Thank you so much, ladies and gents. This is your Queen English panel. A round of applause.